Welcome to Kurt's Home Living. Day 2, the finale. And these are the ingredients that I'm going to be using to finish up my gumbo fusion. Welcome back. Today is day 2 and the final day of our 2-day oxtail fusion gumbo. In day 1, we washed, seasoned our oxtails, and they've been in the refrigerator marinating for 24 hours with the special seasoning blend that I made up in the day 1 video. I have my andouille sausage, which we ground it up, put in the casings, and smoked on the grill. In the day 1 video, they're ready to go. They've cured overnight. We're going to have some rice and peas, red peas. And I cheated with my rice and red peas today. I had these inexpensive items laying in my pantry. Box of New Orleans style red beans and rice. Bag of yellow rice, the box comes with a little seasoning packet, and it comes with the rice with the I guess dehydrated beans, and you cook it for 20 minutes. Cook the yellow rice the same 20 minutes. You need 2 cups of water for this and 3 cups of water for this, so keep that in mind. I'm gonna need 5 cups of water. Although I'm not using water, I'm going to use the broth that we're going to get from our oxtails. I'm going to be cooking with my pressure cooker today. Nothing fancy. Not a 1-pot, none of that stuff. Just a basic pressure cooker. I'm going to cook my oxtails for an hour in the pressure cooker. Then I'm going to use that broth to cook my rice. And that broth is also going to be the broth for our gumbo. Okay, let's get started. We're going to set this rice to the side. We're going to set our andouille sausages to the side. I have a cup of cooking oil, seasoned oil, because I've used it. I've been using it. And a cup of flour. That's going to be for our roux. At the last minute, I have a couple of these lobster claws that I'm going to throw in. I have some corn that was laying around in the refrigerator. I'm going to throw that in as well. I have some beef base. I'm going to be making my beef broth using this and my browning seasoning that I got from Jamaica. I have a can of stewed tomatoes that I'm going to use them for my gumbo as well. And I usually use fresh whole okra, but I didn't make my way to the Chinese store or to the store where I get the whole okra, so I just bought a bag of whole okra frozen from the supermarket. And I have I call these the soul vegetables, the root vegetables, meaning they're going to give the flavor to my broth, cooking it with the oxtails. I have some fresh thyme in here. I have some beets that were laying around in the refrigerator. I have some cauliflower stems, celery, tomato. I just smashed about 3 garlics. I have green pepper. I have some, believe it or not, I had some asparagus laying around in the refrigerator. I cut those up into little chunks. Any vegetable I could find that I thought would add some profile. I have some garlic, some ginger root, celery, anything that I thought that could create a nice broth. I put it in there. And I also have my pretty vegetables, which are going to be showcased in the gumbo. Okay, I have a pan over here. I'm going to heat it up pretty hot. cast iron skillet. We're going to be searing off our oxtails. And there were all kind of seasonings if you watch day one video that I put in here. It's a fusion of Jamaican, Cajun, Asian, and my own way of fusing my oxtails to make my oxtail gumbo. Get our tongs. We're going to get a nice sear on these. Try to get it on all sides. So we're going to have 2 rounds of this, so might as well stop right there. I have my pressure cooker pot that I'm going to be putting the oxtails right in. We're going to go hard with this flame. While I'm searing that off, I'm going to go ahead and cut my vegetables up here. Pretty vegetables, so to speak. As usual, all my vegetables were rinsed. Couldn't remember the name of this vegetable, but it is asparagus, fully rinsed. Just be cutting these in a actually, the asparagus is going to go in with the other vegetables. It doesn't go in with these vegetables. Asparagus is going to go in here. In the wrong bowl. And then we'll probably top it with some green onions, maybe a little parsley. Depends on what mood I'm in when I get to that point. Onion, celery, peppers, the Holy Trinity in New Orleans. So we're going all over the place with this gumbo. It's going to have a New Orleans base, but it's going to have a Jamaican kick to the oxtails. Let's see where we're on with these. Looking good. Those are searing up pretty good. Okay, that'll take care of our vegetables, our showcase vegetables. satisfied with the sear on these. We're right in our pot. Nice and hot. Pour some of our vegetables in. Little thyme down there at the bottom. Have tomatoes in here and everything. All kind of goodies in that bowl. All right, we're going to take our bowl which was marinating in and get us some hot water going. We're going to create our broth in here. We get 4 teaspoons. Of beef base in here. Two teaspoons of browning liquid. We may have to add more water to this. This is 4 cups of water. I'm going to put 5 in. Maybe even 6. See? Oxtail is to get a nice sear. Not bad, but we'll use some salt. Mix this up. And I kept my fat on my oxtails. People taking the fat off. I mean, if it's overly fat, I can understand that. But for the most part, that's what's going to create your flavors. And then you can skim out the end. I always believe in this. Don't skim to the end. So you get all the flavors out of that fat that you want to get. Then you skim. That's behind all, I feel that way about all cooking. All right, we're going to go right in with our oxtails in here. We're going to set this to the side. We're ready to use that again. Put the rest of our vegetables in. Now with our braising liquid, so to say. Yeah, I didn't think I got all the flavor out of that. That beef base didn't break all the way down, but it'll break down. As I stated, this broth is going to be for two things. It's going to be the broth for our gumbo, and we're also going to take everything out of here and use the broth for to cook our beans and rice. We're going to cook these for 1 hour. Our pressure cooker has time settings and all of that stuff for rice and risotto, potatoes and yams, meat and chicken, beans and grains, soups and stews. I usually don't use any of that stuff. But when we do our beans and rice, we're going to set it on the rice setting when our oxtails get done. Okay, 60 minutes. We're going to start on our roux. We're going to turn this automatically down to medium-low. Pour a cup of seasoned oil in there. We'll let that heat up a tad. We're going to go ahead and get our andouille sausage cut up too. Don't think I'm using all of this. Oh, one thing I did want to do is take the ends of my andouille sausage and put them in with my oxtail. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut off all the ends. And they're going to go in with the oxtail. Before this thing gets just heating up. I'm going to cut these on a bias. And at this point, I'm not worried about the casings. The casings come off, then oh well. I don't need them anymore. The sausage is going to hold up. Slices just like that. We're going to use it all. Okay, that's ready to go. Alright, in with our flour. We're looking for a dark roux here, slightly past the peanut butter stage. Just going to keep watching that and stirring that. We're gonna turn our fire all the way to low. These were the beans that I initially were going to cook. I couldn't find them until just now. Evidently someone put them in my seasoning bag. These are fava beans. This is what I wanted to cook with the beans and rice. Well, I'll do another video on the fava beans. But these are the beans I initially wanted to cook, but I couldn't find them. I'm gonna put me some fresh thyme in here, start flavoring this up. Give that a quick rinse. I have some dry shrimp in my put in that bowl here. I'm going to add these in to flavor this as well. Have a couple anchovies. I'm gonna throw those here as well. As I said, this is going to be a fusion gumbo. It's going to have flavors from all over the world. I'm not playing no games with the gumbo. The shrimp and the anchovies are cooked down until you won't even know they're in there. It's the flavor that they're going to bring on, put into the gumbo, along with the beef flavor. It's going to be a surf and turf gumbo with all the fixings from New Orleans and the oxtails from Jamaica. The flavor profile that I have in the andouille sausage with my homemade Chinese 5-spice and the pimento and the Cajun and the curry. I'm not cooking with the Scotch bonnet today, but I do have my ground up habanero pepper in there. I have enough heat. I have ground up bird's eye pepper in there. I have Thai chili paprika in there. I'm gonna turn this on this burner. Slow burner. I'll be back in 5. Okay, I'm back. You don't want to leave this stuff too long. Let's continue on low. Figure we got an hour with our pressure cooker oxtail, so this will be perfect by the time I get done. We're at the peanut butter consistency or look now. You really have to watch when you put herbs in here, fresh herbs, because they could burn easily. Go ahead and wash these cans off. I'm gonna add a can of tomato paste to that too. I've never used whole frozen okra. First time for everything. Now I'm not going to be using my okra as a thickener. Sometime when you make your gumbo, you can put half your okra in to help thicken it and then half for show. This is all going to be for show. I don't need this to thicken it. I'm going to rinse them, get them thawed out. All the thyme came off the stem. We're going to keep the stems in. They're packing a lot of flavor as well. Although this is a thickening agent, this roux, you still want to have a little flavor with it, so when you add it to your broth, everything will be all ready to go together because the broth is flavorful, the roux is flavorful. Just going to put our tomatoes and our tomato paste in this black bowl here. Now in an hour, the oxtails aren't going to be done. We're going to finish them in the pot with the rest of our stuff. I believe it takes oxtails about an hour and between an hour and a half to cook in a pressure cooker. We want it to get to the fall off the bone status in the pot. With the sausage and everything else, so all the flavors can marry. Okay, we're going to just sit that with these okras. I have a couple fennel seeds I'm going to throw in here. A little bit of Cajun seasoning. not fennel, that's cumin seeds, I'm sorry. You can see I'm building my flavors with my roux. I'm going to put some regular table salt in here. Also add a few mustard seeds in here. And a piece of cinnamon stick. Put a couple of these allspice berries in here. A little of my homemade curry powder. This is how you build layers of flavor. Getting to be a nice color. We're about where we need to be with that. We've been cooking this for a little over 15 minutes. We'll just keep going the way we're going. Oxtail's been on for 20 minutes. Cook this until your oil and your flour becomes one. And I can feel it getting to that point. I can't think of a better vessel to use than this cast iron skillet for this. I've done it with a non-stick, I've done it with stainless steel, but not like the cast iron. Well, that's about the color we want. It's about where we want to be with this. I'm going to transfer this to a pot. This is hot and heavy, got to get a good grip on this. Okay, you served your purpose, cast iron skillet. Turn this up on medium. I think we can go with a wooden spoon from here. Wooden spatula. And I'm going in with my vegetables. Going with our corn. I'm not using all of that corn. Check out my thyme twigs now, as I see them. You still get the water coming out of the vegetables, get them flavored. All right, we're going on with our red tomatoes and tomato paste. All I want to do at this point is when my oxtails get done, just throw them in here, let them cook down for half an hour. So if I have to, before those get done, is pull these off, then I'll pull these off and set them to the side. Don't want to overcook my vegetables. We're going to go with our andouille, homemade andouille sausage. I usually don't even put corn in my gumbo, but I've seen the corn left over in the refrigerator, so let's do it. Matter of fact, we're going to put the rest in. Just going to let that go on medium, stir occasionally. So the plan is when those come out, when the oxtails come out of the pressure cooker, we're going to retain about 4 cups of the broth for our rice, and the rest is going to go in here, and whatever we have to add water to, we will, if there's not enough broth. We're going to have enough flavor where we should be okay. We'll add a little water if we have to. A little more Cajun spice in here. That's just about do it for the spices. May have to add some salt and pepper later. Yes, we do need some pepper. We have enough hot peppers from the flavors in our Cajun sausage. Those are pretty spicy. And the seasonings that we put on our oxtails. So I'm not going with anything hot as of yet. At this point, we're going to add a couple of cups of water. Put 2 cups in for now. Starting to look a lot like gumbo. I'm going to just put a couple of our okras in here. Maybe another cup of water. Andouille sausage is a fusion of Jamaican and Cajun for sure. It is really good. Really spicy too. So it's going to spice us up pretty good once it starts cooking. Once the flavors, the flavors start seeping out of the sausage. Well, that's coming together nicely. I usually don't put carrots in my gumbo, but we're going to add a few here. We'll give these a rinse. the lid. Let's rinse these carrots. Okay, the timer's going off on our pressure cooker. This has been simmering down pretty good over here. I'm gonna go ahead and release no matter how ready you get for that exhaust, because it always startles me every time I turn it. We're gonna go ahead and add the rest of our okra. Most of it, at least. We're going to be adding the oxtails to this. Some of the broth. I learned my lesson from this pressure cooker. Let all the steam come out. I opened it premature one time and had everything all over the wall. And luckily it wasn't all over me. Alright, we're looking pretty good there. Let's get this out of here. Okay, we're going to be using this thing again. What we want to do is get the oxtails out, get them into here. Whatever vegetables want to come along for the wrap, it's more than welcome. Take our thyme sprigs out. These are just about done, just where you want them, where they only have like 20 more minutes to go. Sit this in this pot for now. Need to fill this thing up with broth. It's 5 cups. The rest is going to go back in here. Put this in here. Add another cup of water. And with our rice and beans. Just a little water in here, rinse it out. Okay. some of these vegetables back in here. Okay, let's get this back into the pressure cooker. Shouldn't take that long for this to get back up to heat. And we're going to press our rice in risotto setting and let it go. Meanwhile, over here, gumbo is looking pretty good to me. All right, we're gonna turn this to medium low. Let this simmer. Let's get a taste of this. Forgot to taste the broth. Just a tad of salt, I believe. Okay, we're going to just let that go, put a lid on it. So people ask, do you use all the newfangled kitchen equipment? I said, heck yeah. Yes, I do. I take advantage of anything that's available. I don't have the fancies of those things, but yes, I have a pressure cooker. I have an air fryer. I have a toaster. I have a food processor. I have a NutriBullet. I got a spice grinder. I have a blender. I have a dehydrator. I have a coffee machine. I take advantage of everything that they have. I don't see why we're going to throw these in there. Good stuff in there. Let it all hang out. We'll turn up to low, let that simmer while the rice cooks. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stir this up, then throw on our crab claws or lobster claws. Just sit them on the top. Let them sink slightly below. Okay. Put a little salt in here. I can just use it. Jamaican Creole oxtails. We have a couple Jamaican restaurants in this city. There was one really good in the Pittsburgh area who she cooked out of her kitchen. Very good Jamaican food. There was one in another one. The guy had this restaurant for years. At least 10, 15 years or longer. Consistency is key in any cooking business. It's key. There's a lot of other ones popped up. A lot of other ones fell by the wayside. He's been there the longest, as far as I know. And I learned how they cook. I learned how they cook their food, clean their food. I've been to Jamaica 3 or 4 times, so I kind of was nabby and found out how things are done. And I just add my flair to it. And that's with any cooking. You add your signature to it. I have some of these jarred sweet peppers. I'm gonna add them to that. This is for show. And I add a little sweetness. Okay, that's our rice and beans. This was a 2-day process. 2 different videos to be available on YouTube. Kurt's Home Living. Kurt's Home Live. 2-day process. The first day, we clean, season our oxtails, refrigerated them for 24 hours. We grinded up our pork, seasoned our pork, and cased it into the casings to make sausage links. So I wouldn't have to go buy Andouille sausage. That worked out beautiful because they're delicious. In day 2, we're finishing up the process. Searing off our oxtails, put them in the pressure cooker. Although I cheated with the rice and beans, sometimes you have to cheat. Cut corners, cut time. For the rice and beans, I use a box of New Orleans style rice and beans that already had the dehydrated beans in the rice with the seasoning packet, and I use a bag of yellow rice. Mixed the 2 of those, and now we're going to see what it looks like. Looks good to me. Get a quick mix on this. Maybe could have used less liquid. Go ahead and get this thing out of here. Put it in a bowl. I'm sure it has to set. And I used a can of chili beans. Rinsed them off. Did a perfect bean for this. Not kidney bean, not black bean, but I use a red chili bean in a can. And that worked out pretty good. Because it matched the same type of bean that was in the box, the instant box of rice and beans. Well, I don't know how instant it is. It still takes 25 minutes. I don't know what kind of seasonings they had in that pack, but that liquid that it cooked in, it's almost like risotto. Okay, that's it on our oxtails. Voila. Oxtail gumbo fusion with some andouille sausage, homemade, some lobster claws, and beans and rice. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. And here it goes. Oxtail fusion, homemade Cajun sausage, lobster claws, whole okra, assortment of vegetables and treats in there, and some beans and rice. Enjoy.
Mm, mm, mm. I'm speechless. This gumbo fusion was delicious. And thanks for watching Kurt's Home Living Gumbo Fusion.